And I remember telling him about the concept of bingo, of being on five or more
Oh yeah.
drugs at the same time. And I told him the concept, and dude, he thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And this was just over a meal. Like, we were sober. He was like, "Oh, dude, that's fucking hilarious. Like, that's genius." And later that night, like we're getting into it. Like DJs are playing, music bumping, drugs are coming out. And he comes up to me. He's like naming drugs and counting off like one finger, two finger, three finger, four finger. He's like, "I just need one more. Like, what else do you have you can give me to hit bingo?" This is modern day Hippie. We are your homies who've done nearly every drug under the sun. Over 600 psychedelic trips and nearly every kind of bender you can possibly imagine have armed us with a universe of knowledge. I'm Yuki, and with my co-host Reggie, we talk about how we do drugs in a responsible, safe, and fun way to improve our lives. Before we dive in, and so we don't get sued, a quick legal disclaimer.
This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Our goal is to educate and inform others about the realities of substance use in an engaging and entertaining format. We share these experiences so you can learn from them without trying them yourself. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to attempt to recreate anything found in this episode or in any of our other content. We are not confessing to any acts stated in this podcast. The content in this episode should not be treated as factual or real in any way.
With that, we welcome you through our portal and hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, hippies? Hope you're having a vibey day today. We're going to be talking about a recent event that Yuki hosted for his birthday. Yuki, you want to talk about that?
Dude, yeah, this event it was like a drug-fueled bonanza in a lot of ways. And
insane.
Dude, the reason I want to talk about it is because I feel like this was the event where I introduced quite a few of especially my somewhat younger friends to new drugs, to new substances. And on one hand, I feel like did it in a like controlled setting, safe space. Everyone felt good and mentally just like welcome and comfortable. But also like I've kind of been wrestling with this idea of like opening the Pandora's box for some of these friends. And I would like to think that I've shown a good example of like responsible drug usage to these people. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking through a lot of it. And honestly, like, I think in this episode, I also want to like process some of these thoughts because it was super interesting, dude. And I know you had like a very unique experience that weekend as well. Like you were off doing your own thing a lot of the time. And I love that for you, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, man. Let's unpack that a little bit. I know some of what you're talking about with some of your younger friends doing new substances for the first time, but I didn't realize it was like a theme at your birthday, man.
No, it definitely wasn't. And I can give a little bit of context here on the situation. So basically my idea was for my birthday, I wanted to get like 30 of my closest friends, my favorite people from all around the country together for one weekend and basically just like hang out at a massive Airbnb. It wasn't like explicitly going to be like a super drug related thing. I did make it clear that there would be drugs present, and that, everyone, like, whether you're into drugs or not, like whatever you want to do while you're there, like it's all like, it's a comfortable, safe space for everyone. But I was really fascinated to especially see how like my different friends would interact because a lot of these people come from completely different areas of my life. And even though every single one of these people knows like how I feel about drugs and like the positive effects they've had on my life in a lot of ways and all that positive jazz that you listeners know from listening to the podcast, there were very different degrees of like drug experience among some of these people. So we had people who were, on one extreme who like, I feel like they do way more drugs than me or you, Reggie, and they just like party fucking crazy. And it's like, I've partied with these people before, and it's like, I tap out when they're like still just in the middle of their sesh. So there's like that one extreme. Then there's another extreme where it's some people have like literally never tried a hard drug before. And maybe they've been curious about it, that they know I partake and like their minds are open to it. They just like haven't had the chance or like felt comfortable enough to try it before. And then there's a lot of in between, like people who hadn't tried psychedelics, or people who'd only done coke before, or things like that. And I know like I brought a decent amount of substances to the party, and I was very like willing and happy to feed various friends like small amounts of drugs, and then also helped source some other substances that I didn't have personally for some folks there that wanted to get access for them. And for several of my friends, I remember most acutely this weekend was their first time trying ketamine, because with several of these friends, like they're at the point in their life where they're still like going out and drinking a lot, but they're starting to recognize just how like shitty alcohol makes them feel. And so they've been around me when I'm doing ketamine, and they've seen me like have a good time. And I'm pretty much always very good about dosing my ketamine. So I'm like, I feel drunk, I'm chilling, I'm not like K-holing or anything. And so they've always like wanted to try ketamine and get that same feeling to see how it compares to actually drinking, but they never felt comfortable or safe enough to do it. And so I am grateful that like they felt that right way in that setting to like try the substance.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm not gonna lie, you created such a great environment for your birthday, man. And like, I don't know where you got the inspiration. I don't know if it's like from all the Burning Man stuff you were telling me about, but like the vibe, let's call it vibe curation, was just on point, man. Like good shit for real.
Dude, I really appreciate that. And genuinely, like going into this weekend, like, dude, I put so much work in organizing this weekend. Like, booked the Airbnb like months in advance, like split the cost across everybody. So, keeping track of Venmos and shit like that. And like, I'm a very organized person. Like I live my life by a spreadsheet, and a calendar, but mostly a spreadsheet. And so it was like cool to bring that together. But like going into the weekend, my main just goal metric was I wanted everyone to leave the weekend feeling like they'd made at least one really awesome new friend. And I feel like that happened for the most part. And from multiple people, I received what I think is the greatest compliment someone could receive, which is that you have awesome friends. It's like if someone is telling you that you have awesome friends, I'm like, I don't know. I take a lot of pride in that. Like I take a lot of pride in my friends and the people I surround myself with. So that was special. And especially like, dude, I was so stressed about like making sure everyone got along, because most of these people had not met each other before. And it's like in my head, it's like, okay, they're good friends of mine. Like I was very intentional about who I invited so I could curate that good vibe. So I wasn't like worried about anything, but I'm like, man, it's gonna be so interesting just seeing these like different worlds clash together. Like even you met so many new people that
yeah,
like,
for real.
Hey hippies, we hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and are having a good time, you need to come over to YouTube and subscribe to the Modern Day Hippie YouTube channel. We publish exclusive video content, and I promise you the experience is richer and more interesting. So if you're getting any value at all, stop what you're doing, open up the YouTube app, and subscribe at Modern Day Hippie. If you're watching this on YouTube and aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Go press subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Every single person I met, dude, was like, yeah, man, I only know like one or two people here other than Yuki and his girlfriend. And I'm like, damn, like, that's like kind of facts, bro. Like, there's not a lot of overlap in like the vast amount of friend groups you have, honestly. It's kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, my hope was that they would combine and mesh well throughout the course of the weekend, which I got very good feedback on. I assume if something didn't go well, like, I don't know if people would want to tell me. I would hope they feel comfortable enough to let me know. But anyway, regardless, like, I think just because people knew me and a decent portion of the group I invited also, have a decent amount of drug experience, like yourself, like my Burning Man friends, like my like mushroom guide, Mushies, who was on for an interview previously. And so I think a lot of the people who were like curious about drugs, about how to try them, like they knew there would be some there. And I think there was this sense among the less experienced folks that like this is like the right weekend, this is the right time and the right place to like try some of these substances, because we're like out in this Airbnb, like way outside of any city.
It's such a chill vibe. Like,
yeah,
you can see the stars and shit. Like, literally.
Dude, yeah, it was awesome. It felt like a freaking summer camp. Like this shit was like summer camp Yuki's birthday or some shit.
Oh man, there's so
dude,
much to talk about that birthday, man.
dude, yeah. I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I want to turn it over to you to get some of your thoughts as like an external perspective. But I remember actually talking with Mushies, like we were talking about drugs. Like he's very into psychedelics, mushrooms, and I remember telling him about the concept of bingo, of being on five or more
Oh yeah.
drugs at the same time. And I told him the concept, and dude, he thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And this was just over a meal. Like, we were sober. He was like, "Oh, dude, that's fucking hilarious. Like, that's genius." And later that night, like we're getting into it. Like DJs are playing, music bumping, drugs are coming out. And he comes up to me. He's like naming drugs and counting off like 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4 finger. He's like, "I just need one more. Like, what else do you have you can give me to hit bingo?" And I'm like, "You want like a tiny Molly rock? Just to say that you did it?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Okay, shit." And so, dude, it's so funny. Like, whether it's at my birthday or other like similar events I've been to like this, I'm always strapped for my fanny pack, and I've got like almost every mainstream drug in that fanny pack you could imagine. And I like having been around more people who are very liberal about giving out drugs. I feel like it just creates like a good, wholesome vibe. Like, I'm not giving out like fuck ton of drugs, but like it's nice that I can afford to like give out some ketamine bumps here and there and some 2C bumps and shit. So that was cool. I feel like that contributed to people's experiences. And I had friends who were like whatever you're taking tonight, I want to take.
Oh my
And some of these
god.
guys like hadn't done as many drugs. And so I'd give them like, I feel like I was very responsible in dosing them properly. Like I'd be like, "All right, we're going to start with like small bit of ketamine. Like you might feel a little bit like woozy, but that's it. And then depending on how you feel about that, like I can give you kind of the next level up, et cetera, et cetera."
Dude, yeah, man, that was insane. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even realize how many drugs were at your birthday party. And I remember, I remember at one point in the night, I came up to you and I was like, "Bro, I brought some 2C that you had left at my place like a year ago at this point." And then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, no, man, it's the community 2C," and you just pull out this fat bag of 2C. I'm like, "Holy shit!" It's like 10 times what I brought. Like.
Wait, do you know the story behind that bag of Tusi, bro?
Oh, is that the Pollo Tusi?
Yeah, bro. All right.
Oh
So
shit.
yeah, so that was from like one of the Burning Man homies from our camp, and he wasn't able to come for the whole weekend, but he came just for Saturday night. And so this was the guy who came to our Burning Man camp and brought, I think, like 20 grand worth of this Pollo 2C, which is like, instead of being dyed pink, it's yellow. It's got some like, I don't know, it's special. Like when you snort it, it like kind of feels spicy, which is, I don't know why the fuck they call it Pollo. And the guy who makes it is out of Mexico City. But this guy who brought the bag of the 2C, he was telling me that actually his like big dealer guy from Mexico City was actually like staying in our city for a month, and that they're working together to make their own 2C recipe. That's like the exact ratios of the drugs that
Oh
they
my
want in the
god.
recipe. And so, dude, he like that one bag I showed you, dude, he brought like 4 or 5 of those. And this man is like the shining example to me of just like giving out drugs to people, creating good vibes. Like this man, I swear to God, is like a professional partier. Like he like low-key
Wow.
actually is. And he's like, "Yeah, here's the latest batch of the 2C. Like, try it out. Let me know what you think." And he just like left it out, and he was
Damn.
giving out to people and shit. And it was
Was he
great.
at the birthday?
What's up?
Was he at the birthday?
Yeah. He was only there on Saturday night. He was the guy who had the dog. Who brought
Oh,
the dog.
no way. Oh, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. Okay, dots connecting. Got you.
There we go. Dude. But no, dude, I feel like you were high as fuck like all of Saturday
Me?
night.
Oh my god, bro. Dude, I took those Delta edibles both days, and they're like 300 milligrams each. And they have like 5 different cannabinoids, and they just like fuck me up. Like they're like psychedelic, dude. I don't know. I've talked about them on the channel before, like on the podcast before, and I don't know. I don't know why I took them both days. I'm just like, fuck it. I just want to get super fucking stoned. And I brought my volcano too, so I was just hitting that the whole time. And like, I also made sure to partake in the culture of giving, and made sure that everybody who talks to me knew that I had a volcano that they should hit.
Dude, honestly, I'm so glad you brought the volcano because I feel like just seeing someone's reaction the first time they like see or use a volcano is just so fucking hilarious.
It's
Like
so awesome.
dude, like I literally had people just come up to me during the day and they're like, dude, like Reggie has this thing called a volcano and you fill it with like weed smoke, like in this like giant like trash bag thing and you smoke the bag and it's crazy. I'm like, yeah, man, like that thing's pretty wild.
Damn. Oh yeah. So for context, for those of you who don't know, a volcano is just like a really bougie weed vaporizer, and just, they call it a volcano because you put the weed like on this little bowl, and that goes on top of like this triangle shaped structure that just blows hot air at like a very specific temperature that you could set, and then that just pretty much burns like or vaporizes, I guess, all the THC, but like not the plant matter, and it just fills up a plastic bag and looks like a volcano. That shit gets you so fucking stoned, and it feels like you're just breathing air whenever you hit it. So like,
Dude,
you don't even realize how stoned you're getting.
it's straight up like the smoothest anything I've ever smoked. Like the smoke that comes out of that bag, it's just like every time you hit it, you're like, am I like smoking anything?
And then you're just super baked.
Yeah. No, dude, I remember the first time that you let me hit that. I think you like came over and stayed at our place and we like smoked
Okay.
sage and shit. Dude, we tried to find eucalyptus at the grocery store, but we couldn't find it.
Yeah, dude. I still haven't been able to find eucalyptus anywhere.
No, I think we found some. We've seen it, but yeah, dude, that thing will fucking vaporize anything.
Dude, yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think we put like Italian herb seasoning or some shit at one point. And we just like smoked it, and the cool thing about vaping like weed and pretty much vaping anything is that it's so much more flavorful than smoking it. Like you can taste all the flavors. So like putting in some Italian herbs and shit, like it tasted great, man. Like,
Yeah, dude. No, and it's like, bro, I feel like between you and so many people who came, I feel like I freaking assembled the Avengers of like drug usage. Like, about the volcano, like one of my friends who came is literally like a really talented joint roller. Like, everyone who I've talked to who knows weed, so I'm not talking about myself, we're like, dude, she rolls the best joints I've ever like smoked in my life. And she like loves doing it. It's literally like a fucking like meditative
yeah.
art form for her. We had the friend who brought all the 2C, like I had a good bit of ketamine. I was just like dosing people. And,
People are doing Molly. Like,
bro, dude, the Molly Bros, if you know who I'm talking about,
what are you talking about?
bro. Okay,
That was hilarious.
so one of them, the one who you were meeting for the first time, I have seen that guy roll his absolute tits off like 4 consecutive days at past parties.
Damn.
And
That's
dude,
nuts.
yeah, and this guy's what, like late 30s, early 40s, and this is just one of those people who I'm like, he's legitimately built different. This guy parties so much harder at his current age than I ever have or ever will in my life. Like, I don't know how his brain isn't just fucking fried from all the
Bro.
Molly alone he's done and like so many other things on top of that.
Dude, at your birthday alone, on the same night, he was not just on Molly, but also on shrooms and on like, I gave him a fucking edible, dude. He ate that shit. Like one of the fucking psychedelic ass edibles I was just talking about. And I'm like, how are you still like functioning? But I will say, like talking to the other Molly bro, like there were definitely some moments where like he was just fucking gone. Like, so, like he's like, where are we? Like,
dude, at some point I just see them both like zonked out on the couch, just like just looking up at the ceiling being like, bruh.
man, I haven't been that fucked up in a while. I'm not gonna lie. Even the last time I bingoed, I didn't go that hard. Like,
Oh shit, for real? Wait, so what did you do on top of the weed, if anything?
dude, at your birthday, I did. So there was the weed, there was the edibles, and then obviously I did some 2C. Oh, dude, one of the people there just kept on feeding me Coke, bro. He's like, "Hey Reggie, you want another hit of Coke?" And I'm like, "Fuck it."
If you insist.
And he was like, "If you insist," and we did a lot of blow, low key.
I'm happy. I put in the effort to procure that Coke because that was, I feel like, the one main drug that I didn't have on premises. And literally I gave it to our Coke friend, a very avid fan of cocaine. it was like, it was like 2.5, 3 grams, which is a lot to me. And also to him, to be fair. And I was like, here you go. Like this bag, like you are the owner of it for the night. Like give it out to people, whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
however much you do, like at the end, like just send me some money for it. Like I don't care like how much you actually do, how much you send me. Like it's all above board. It's all chill. And so that way I could kind of like, I delegated the responsibility of the cocaine to somebody else. And
Oh yeah.
then really to me, I was mostly the bearer of the ketamine. And then our friend with the dog was mostly the bearer of the 2C slash there's some 2C going around. I had some too. I also give quite a few people shrooms.
Dude, yeah, I forgot you gave me shrooms. I literally forgot. And my girlfriend, and the craziest thing is, my girlfriend was so fucking high off the edibles and hitting the volcano with me that she dead ass fell asleep on the shrooms. Like knocked out. I've never in my life seen someone completely be asleep on shrooms. I was like, holy shit, that's fucking impressive.
Dude, I believe it. And honestly, dude, I felt bad because I feel like you guys called it pretty early on Saturday night because y'all were so high and we're like banging music literally until like sunrise, basically.
Oh yeah, because our room was like right next to the DJ set.
You were in the party house.
Yeah, no, worth it though, worth it. Honestly, like, yeah, there were other activities going on in the room too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there. Hey, I'm glad you had a good time. That's all that matters to me.
Oh yeah, you did a great job, bro.
But
that was an insane birthday.
Dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm already thinking about what I would do differently next year. And I'm like, do I even have the energy to organize something again next year? And I think by the time comes around, I'll feel positive about it. But now I'm just like in recharge mode because it was so much stress with just like getting everything together. And I haven't mentioned on the pod yet, but literally the Airbnb I had initially booked like 2 months out for the weekend. Those motherfuckers called me 2 hours before the check-in on Friday to tell me that they had to cancel the booking, like on the host's end. And at that point, I literally have like people who just landed. I have like 25 people flying in. I have another like 5 to 10 like from my city who are going to go to the property. Dude, like that. Oh my God. I shit you not. Like after that weekend, I felt almost as tired as I did after an entire week of Burning Man. And like a little bit of that was because like Saturday night, I stayed up all night. I was probably up for like 30 hours doing a lot of drugs, but also I just had so much stress of just like making sure, like finding the new Airbnb and then making sure people had rides there and back because it was a good bit further than the original one. And like, dude, it drained the shit out of me.
I have
like,
no
honestly,
idea how you pulled that shit off and got another property, which like low key was an upgrade. I'm not even gonna lie.
100%.
I have no idea how you guys pulled that off. Like that must have been so stressful.
Yeah, it was. I'm really glad it worked out. Like, super glad to put this together. Right. And dude, it's interesting, right? Because like on Sunday morning, everyone left at different times because like, you know, some people had early morning flights, some people afternoon, etc. And I feel like, you know, I feel like I got to say goodbye to everybody, but I wanted to have like, I wish with every person I left, I wish I had almost just like
a goodie bag.
No, yeah, that would have been cool, but like almost like an exit interview or just like
nice.
a like dude, like are you doing good? Like, you know, you're mentally solid, like you had a positive drug experience or whatever this weekend. And pretty much everyone who I talked to about it said they had a good time. But I'm like, I feel like I have so many like follow-up conversations I want to have with people like when they're leaving. And I'm like, dude, like, what was your experience like that entire weekend? Because obviously I'm like talking to people throughout, but I'll be honest, I think for a decent amount of the weekend, I got pretty lost in trying to make sure that like other people are having a good time versus like me having a good time.
I noticed you doing that. I was like, damn, bro.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I still had a blast. But I was like, you know, trying to make the rounds, like make sure everyone like has what they need, you know, the drinks, the drugs, whatever. And, it honestly, the weekend like pushed and stretched me in some really interesting ways. And I think I got a lot out of it in terms of also just like learning about myself and, you know, how I am when I have so many people who I genuinely like love and care about around me. You know, some very positive ways, some that might be a little negative on myself, but again, like no regrets. It was a time, you know?
Oh yeah, the time it was. Man, the whole organization behind that party still kind of blows my mind because my girlfriend was the one handling all of it, like for us, because like she has an iPhone. And I guess like you guys had that group chat going, and I was like, I don't want to be
Yeah.
bothered by that.
You're at the club and the music is thumping, but you've got nothing left in the tank. So what do? Sniff some cacao. Yep, you heard that right. Sniff some cacao. It's the hottest new trend in the club and party scene. One bump-sized sniff of raw chocolate powder contains the caffeine equivalent to a half cup of coffee, and boom, it hits instantly. And the best part is you can now sniff cacao anytime, anywhere. Right out in the open, in front of the DJ booth or the stage, even at the VIP table with your friends. Now, how does that happen without drawing unwanted attention? Well, Snowgo's spring-loaded bump straws make it possible. These classy, triple mirror polished bump straws are the safest, most discreet way to enjoy sniffing cacao. In fact, you've most likely already seen people wearing Snowgo's bump straws as pendants around their necks without even knowing it. Discover why sniffing cacao using Snowgo bump straws is being called the biggest revolution in partying since the invention of rock and roll. Jump on over to snowgostraws.com to learn more. That's SNOGOSTRAWS.com and use discount code MDH25 for 25% off your entire order.
And she showed me like all the different forms of communication y'all had going on, like the texts, like the spreadsheets, the itineraries, the packing list, like all of this shit that like you would like. I felt like I was like paying for a prepaid vacation or something. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Those like all-in-ones. I felt like I had an all-in-one. Like,
dude, that was literally the goal. I'm like, I just want. It's like you just like pay the admission price, which is just like the even split for everything that weekend. And then you get yourself there, and I'm like, I just want it to be like a retreat, like
literally retreat.
Good people, like do whatever we want, and it was awesome. Like it wasn't just doing drugs, like at all. Like during the day, we're like playing pickleball. People are like exploring the garden or in the pool.
Dude,
or in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the meals.
Oh, the chefs! I forgot that you guys hired private chefs. Oh my god, the food was insane the whole time.
Right.
Snacks on deck too, perfect for someone like me who had the munchies, you know?
Yeah. Dude, full service. That's what we strive for.
Honestly, I should have just done more drugs. Like in hindsight, I'm like, wow, probably could have done a lot more and just like still had a great time without worrying.
Facts. Dude, honestly, I think it would have been even more degenerate if my one friend who was going to be the like designated drug dealer for the weekend, he is actually a dealer. Like he was supposed to be there and he like, you know, paid the fee. And he just like didn't show up for whatever reason. Which yeah, like whatever. But I was like, damn, bro, like it's counting on you, like being able to sell people drugs here.
That's like a gig for him, man.
No, dude, literally, I was like, you're gonna easily make your money back, and then way more with like all these people here. But it is what it is. It all worked out, and I would give like a 70 to 80% chance that I do the same thing next year. And I will make sure we have all the necessary substances on site. And I just like have them ready to go to like give to people or just like, you know, sell at cost or even below.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yuki's
and then
birthday bash part 2.
Yeah. And then you can get as fucked up as you want. And or probably know more of the people there. I mean,
well, they all know each other, hopefully, or most of them at that point.
Yeah. And there are definitely people who like, I know definitely want to, like, weren't able to make it this year who definitely want to come. At this point, it's just logistics, like finding a place that's like big enough to comfortably fit however many people at a price point that's like, you know, like no more expensive than what you guys paid this year. So we'll see, but I'm not thinking about that until like
man, almost a year take it easy right now.
I'm good. I got some other just like trips and things to plan, but dude, I'm in just such a nice like relaxation and reflection mode. Like,
yeah.
Been doing a lot of like reflecting on the year, and it's good. Like taking a solid break from most substances, and it's been necessary. Like I've needed this break from a lot of things, and I'm
Dude, I feel you,
savoring
man.
every minute of it.
I feel you. And honestly, I didn't even tell you this, but I'm going to be quitting smoking like anything and snorting anything for like the next 5 months.
Damn,
Out of
dude.
necessity, actually, because I'm getting surgery on my nose because I broke my
Oh
nose.
fuck, that's right.
Yeah, dude. But like, that's going to be a nice little break for me from those substances. I'll still do shrooms and acid and shit. Like, and like maybe some edibles, but yeah, dude, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. It's going
Yeah.
to be, and I was looking at it, it's the same time frame that I took this year of like not smoking. Like the first 5 months of this year, I wasn't smoking at all.
Hey, I mean, that's not a bad annual habit to
It's
implement.
not. I'm
Like,
kind of thinking of
I
making it a
mean,
thing for me.
dude, yeah, I am such a big proponent of taking intentional measured breaks from drug usage. Like, because it's like when you come back to it, I feel like you have a much greater appreciation and a perspective for it. It's like right, like level one to that is just your tolerance goes back down for stuff. But level two is, I think you're like coming into it with a short term like sense of novelty, but you're also very experienced with that substance, whether it's weed,
Right.
whether it's coke, whether it's
Exactly.
ketamine. It's like, it's not your first rodeo. Like, you kind of become a pro at it. And having that time away from it just like lets you just kind of like process and I think treat it in hopefully a more
Respect it, you know.
respectful, exactly, and like
Yeah.
measured way. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Dude.
the way I did it this year and the way I'm going to do it next year is that I'm not going to smoke until 420. And then that just makes 420 like a crazy celebration of weed.
Yeah, dude, that's a great idea, bro. Honestly, I feel like we should make that a thing. Like,
Yeah, it
fucking
should be a thing. The
the
pre
MDH.
420 fast.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was like, instead of No Fap November, what are we gonna call it, bro? It's like the No Weed Q1 or something.
Yeah,
But no,
that'd be like
honestly,
quarterly or something.
420 fast is good. Let's work
The
with that,
420 fast. Honestly, let's just call it that. All right, guys, hop on the 420 fast with me if you're up for it.
dude. Fuck yeah, I love it. Honestly, let's make it a thing, dude. I support this.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening. You've been listening to Modern Day Hippie. As you exit the portal, we have just one small ask of you. If you learned something new today, had a laugh, or resurfaced a drug story of your own, we want to hear about it. Drop us a comment on YouTube and show us some love on your favorite podcasting platforms. Internet algorithms really dog on us because of the topics that we discuss, so your support goes even further here than you might think. We'll catch you next week.